versus Villager.
And this is not something you see super often, right, in large part because there's not a lot of active Villager players. You know, there's a couple here and there, Pokelam and Tri-State, right, one such example, Javi on Earth, another, but you just don't see this character very often. Obviously, people are going to talk a lot about the role of Pocket in this matchup, but Slingshot as a projectile that swings through those missiles, swing through some of the weaker hits, as well as just the mixture of Tree and Lloyd Rocket to counteract that charge shot, as we saw, right? Just so incredibly powerful at the counter zoning game, and is one of the reasons Samus struggles in this matchup, much like they struggle with matchups with anybody who can put out active hurt boxes.
Yeah, this looks tough for like a lot of reasons. Like my immediate thought was, oh, Pocket, but I'm like, okay, well actually forward air is like a huge problem. Recovering is a huge problem because of Bowling Ball. Lloyd Rocket and Tree just stopped Samus from charging. Also, Samus can't necessarily like charge freely in the air like she likes to because there's little things like pinging her away. So yeah, this seems like a pretty tough start for Advo. Wilt already lapping them in percent, getting a lot of damage, just kind of staying out of most of Samus's range and just trading with these fares and really just getting a ton of damage right here. All right, here comes the Tree, possibly.
And I love putting the Tree at ledge there. You set up for the edge trap. You can mix the chop high, chop low. Oh, you have now the potential, right? Set up this wall at ledge to make the ledge trap more awkward, looking for a potential reversal here, but not going to find it. Beautiful tech and the Lloyd Rocket to keep yourself close to home here, far from the blast zone, although the percent is racking up. Advo just hasn't been able to find any answer yet to this Villager. And I mean, I don't know what extra resources Tom Nook gave her, but she is building up this victory fast.
Oh, she got mad bells in the bank for sure. And I think a lot of people are like, okay, it's a zoner, but once you get in, it's fine. But the curse of Smash Ultimate is that every zoner in the game has like crazy hands for no reason.
Also, I'm
Villager no exception to that rule.
Villager had those hands in Smash 4 too, though.
True.
Shoutouts to Vinay, right? Shoutouts, you know, unfortunately someone who didn't really compete in Ultimate, being part of the development team and it being something culturally frowned upon back in Japan to do both. But you know, was someone who really pushed this character forward, especially in the CQC space, and you still see a lot of elements of that in Ultimate Villagers play today.
Yeah, I see it right here. Advo really just trying to find those edge guards. A little easier said than done, and that sweet spot bear really might spell disaster, because once again, is that... Yes, just barely enough with the Magna Hands, thank goodness for Advo. That was looking tough, but yeah, Wilt's playing great. Wilt's getting all these techs, and the offstage pressure has been phenomenal. Back, they're going to reset the situation. Tree is going to slow you down from like jumping with those forward airs. And the shield break to start off game one. Incredible play from Wilt.
That was just a matchup check right there. That was just a, you're in the corner, you're going to shield, Tree's behind you. You are definitely not expecting this to work the way it does. Because you say, okay, they're going to water it, Tree's going to go, I'll be in shield, and then I'll be able to react to whatever they do next. What people forget is Tree has like a year's worth of hit stuff.
Oh, it's a ton, yeah.
Yeah, you get hit by that move, and you literally can like go get up, make yourself a sandwich, come back, and then react.
Oh yeah.
To the next option. Like.
So yeah, this is one of those things where like I think some of the better options that Advo might have would be counter poking with Zaire is going to be really huge. You could at least slow down the momentum from those Lloyd Rockets and those forward airs. You at least kind of like sort of put a band-aid on the situation. And dash attack is going to be pretty solid too. But other than that, you can't really pressure with charge shot freely. I mean, even just medium strength charge shot is just a disaster for Villager to get their hands on. Not even just for the knockback, but just from the sheer extra hit stun and how fast it comes out of the pocket. So you can't really zone with that. You could maybe try to bait them with like missile and hope they pocket that instead. But yeah, this is definitely a tall order. Of course, this is all best of 5, so Advo has a lot of time to try to figure things out and maybe get a little bit of a better handle on some of these edge guards. That could really come into play a lot for Advo if you could figure some stuff out there. But yeah, the grounded neutral is just going to be really, really hard to deal with.
I love that back air. They're going to find a potential opportunity here to push out or Wilt to the ledge. Advo has been doing a fantastic job now right with the adjustments, as you said, finding the early advantage state. And I think one of the things to note here is that it's not even that Advo just didn't do this in game one. Advo didn't have the opportunity. We didn't see a single advantage state in game one. And this is really the first one, and he's taking it all the way to the bank on what was essentially a 0 to death there, Sai. Once Advo found that first hit, they ran that full to the stock.
Yeah, and honestly, it's so hard to get in on this character. You can't really give anything up. Great punish right there with the charge shot, stopping Wilt from covering with the side B. That was really, really good. Hopefully, Advo can kind of keep the momentum up a little bit, but Wilt is firing back very well. A lot of damage, just barely being contested here. finding the down air either. Not that it matters a whole lot, but yeah, definitely want to keep that momentum going because it is starting to fall out of Advo's favor, especially with elements like Tree and Side B just completely stopping Advo from putting those projectiles out.
I like the sharking attempts there. However, remember, Samus's up air doesn't go straight up, but it does have that slight angle to it. So Wilt was able to position behind the rear, not get too much, but still getting caught in an awkward situation. So getting pressure to the corner here and trying to find some way out of it. I like this change to a CQC approach. We really haven't seen the projectiles out at all. So Wilt hasn't been able to use those counter zoning tools. And so Advo is finding a lot of extra opportunities off of just throwing out that straight projectile now that he's conditioned Wilt to not play around with it.
Oh, getting grabbed out of the side B. There is that little bit of time where like you can just kind of like punish Villager for pulling the move out if you're like at point blank range. But yeah, Advo just barely not taking this next stock, finally getting caught by that rage up air. So Wolf is going to get a stock on the board, but gotta stay away, gotta stay clear, especially from Tree. Not only does Tree do a ton of damage, but at low percents, it also is such a giant hit confirm. It's one of like the scariest things Villager can hit you with.
Yeah, I mean, so much damage at low percent, as we mentioned, a lot of hits done too, so a great combo starter, but also has the potential to give you a couple items, right? You've got that wood, but also a very low percent chance to get a fruit that can heal you a little bit of percent. So some potential extra upside to trying to get that tree chopped, at least semi-often. Though Wilt seemingly did not need it too much because is able to rack up the damage here, try and find a way back into this game, and a quick stock, you might have the opportunity to still make this one happen.
Yeah, Advo's really had his foot on the gas in the second game, and it's been just going fantastic. And again, this is all like CQC pressure, like you were saying. Not going to focus on the projectiles, not going to take the risk, but also getting some really important punishes on Lloyd Rocket, because like catching up to his owner is already tough enough, but you don't want to get like forced back once you finally get there. But Advo's been responding to Lloyd Rocket super well in the second game. We've seen some really good adaptations, nearly the stock, and a frame trap with that down tilt actually is going to give Advo a 2-stock after what happened in game 1. Game 1 was very decisive.
So pretty too as a 2-frame because you drift with the Nair, but because Nair's 2 hits, you can drift the Nair in initially. And if they try to air dodge, right, you can just full send your Nair and try and catch them with the back hit. Or if they try to cross you up, you can catch them with the back hit. And then unless they commit to that early, you literally just, as we saw, fade it back. They can't punish you, and they have to land, and you just catch their landing. And it's one of those things, as you mentioned, a frame trap, but it's just so simple, but it's also, so many people don't think about adding those extra layers, those extra steps to the simple things in their gameplay.
Exactly. So going to game 3, going to Smash, we're going to keep it a little bit closer to the chest here. I like that. I think control over that middle platform is going to be a huge determining factor in who starts getting those leads here. But so far, like I was saying, that Zaire really does kind of throw Villager off a lot of their like aerial game, and Advo's starting to really just take big advantage of that. All that aside, of course, Villager very good on the stage, as you saw, using the dash attack off the platforms. That covers the ledge super well for like most of the cast, especially Samus. So Will still definitely got a lot of tricks up his sleeve.
I'm surprised to see Advo going as deep for some of these things as we do, right? Samus known for having some of the best ledge trapping in the game, and so to see a Samus go off very deep for some of these edge guards, going under the stage, right, going all the way down to look for a dare in the opening seconds as well, is just a very different playstyle that I think Advo is just not entirely, or sorry, Wilt is not entirely used to playing around against Samus.
For sure. Oh, nice. Great coverage with that fair. Gonna do it again, forcing Samus to try to recover with that down B, but every single time Samus has to go low, that bowling ball is just gonna snipe that recovery out, and there's virtually no chance of surviving it. So Wilt got himself off to a good start here. I love the deep in the blast zone. Zaire forced to recover. Great back air, and once again, another tech, and like you pointed out, using that side B to keep themselves close to the stage after teching and cut that momentum off. Really, really good presence of mind from Wilt. But Advo does finally clean up that stock and keeps things even.
Yeah, and Advo with the adaptation to that as well, right? Recognizing now that Wilt is going to do that, so putting them in positions to do so, and then just waiting and trying to catch out the amount, relatively high end lag that Lloyd Rocket has. We haven't seen it work yet, but the idea is certainly there and is going to come through sooner or later. The question is, though, is Advo going to be able to keep this momentum going? Because they definitely started to pick up after that first stock, taking the center stage, as you mentioned, but just...
Ooh, oh, that was a big punish opportunity.
Yeah. Once Wilt resets, it feels like Advo, in this set so far, if he wins neutral, he is either going to take a stock or Wilt is going to reset, and if Wilt resets, he's going to take the stock first.
That was such a good attempt on that roll read from Wilt. You can definitely see that he is firing at all cylinders, really, really starting to bring some excitement into this little bit of a slower paced match here. But Advo, just a hair shy away from some of these kill confirms. We have ourselves a totally even game here. You were talking about Advo being really good at like ledge trapping, and we saw a lot of that come into play on this stock. But who is actually going to get this? The neutral layer of all things, just going to cut Advo out of that position. I love the position of that because, of course, they want to hang back. They want to throw charge shot. You know, you're a little bit afraid of Samus. What if she just goes out for like a down air like over there? But Wilt just taking the aggressive option and just getting really bloodthirsty for that stock.
And
really
doing it with the water too, right? The water bucket on the tree, baiting out that they're going to grow tree so that you don't go past ledge, so that you sit back and wait because you don't want to go low. You don't want to have to deal with potentially bowling ball at ledge against tree either. So you just double jump backwards, and Wilt just caught that full on with the nair by going off with the slip mix up. It was beautiful stuff, but now pushed to the limit here. Last stock scenario, we've seen Advo run the table on some of these advantage states. All he needs to do is get one neutral win. He is still very much in this one side.
Yeah, definitely still pretty close here. Of course, going to use that up B to punish a little bit of that shield pressure that Wolf's going for. But yeah, really got to pick his shots carefully. God help you if something gets pocketed. But Advo's taking a ton of momentum. I think he's kind of at a point where like he's really in control of like Villager's recovery. She wants to side B so bad, but Zaire just fully shuts her out of that. And then it forces this ledge trap that we're seeing right here. Advo wasn't successful, but that's the position that he needs to keep being in. Because if you look at it, Will's been off stage for like almost 30 seconds now. Despite Advo, you know, had been losing for so long, but like he can't get back to the stage and continue to lead.
But as I said before, you know, it feels like we see Advo get one of these really strong advantage states.
Wow. It poked under the shield, caught her ankle, and she died for it. That is so unfortunate. It is important to angle your shield, but angling your shield below you is very awkward, and it totally makes sense that just poked. Definitely a nail-biter batch, but yeah, Wilf really was able to just take that back.
Those people don't talk enough about how strong multi-hit up smashes are on shield, right? If you can trap someone below a platform, yeah, obviously you can SDI out of them. People don't like them for that reason. It makes them less reliable for killing. But when you can find the ability to pressure on platform with them, it's like, yeah, I'm going to shield poke you and you will die for it.
Exactly.
Have fun.
Yeah.
GG's, shake my hand.
Yeah, that was a really unfortunate scenario, but as I was saying at the beginning of that, whoever controls that center platform is probably going to be like, you know, the more dominant player in the set, and it literally came into play right there. Just the last little bit of that 4th of July action going to poke through the shield here. So Wilf is now up 2-1 against Advo. It's still being played really close, especially considering how difficult I imagine this matchup has to be for Samus. But yeah, that was just absolute nail biter. Definitely was anybody's game. And now you see Advo being like, I'll parry this. I don't care. I'm not getting hit by that again. We're never letting that happen again.
You know, we're continuing our world tour too, right? Yet another new stage here in this set. I think this is, you know, some of the most you'll see in a bracket set for Ultimate through 3 games. This is now Wilt once again racking up the damage, and it feels like so far Advo has gotten about, in the games he's either won or been close in, gotten about 1 good advantage state of stock, and he either takes it, or as I said before, Wilt resets to neutral, and when Wilt resets after the long advantage state, Advo hasn't found a second one in the same stock so far. He needs to find a way to recreate the openings that he is managing to find, because he's not creating enough of them to consistently set himself up in a position to play from a close position relative to his opponent's percent.
Oh, and the shield break again in the exact same position we saw at the end of the first game. The damage from the tree, of course, as you said, it's very active when the tree is growing, and the axe just does a crazy amount of damage. Super good presence of mind for Advo, because honestly, even if that didn't shield break and like he barely survived that, Villager wasn't really in any like recovery for you to punish that scenario either. So very tough for Advo to get off the ledge here.
It's important to think about too that it was, you know, it was a different scenario, even though it was the same position, because he caught the neutral get up into the shield that time. I'm calling out the positioning, but also calling out how both the hurt box and the win box with the water, right, interact with you when you get up off ledge, when you have that hurt box with the jostle mechanic in general. So forcing him into an awkward position when Wilt maybe thought he'd end up on the other side, get pushed off or something, or Advo didn't know as much of how to do so, and now Wilt able to find that shield break and just so much extra damage here as well. Another one off the bowling ball, slamming it down on your head like there's no business. What a call out.
I think at this point, Wilt it might be down low complete. Wilt is just getting such incredible reads on the way that Advo is responding to disadvantage. And, now that we're best of 5, this is where that stuff really comes into play. It's like, all right, I've had a lot of time to study my opponent, and I'm going to put you in tricky scenarios, but Wilt just really keeps gambling big and winning big for it.
Okay, we finally see the wood happen, but it's not going to provide any amount of a factor. Villager does have some crazy combos off it, but we're not going to see them here today. Hey, now it's going to be Advo trying to find the ledge trap at the ledge, but not going to get too much, not wanting to commit to the grab, so instead just resetting, doing it again. Finally, that axe kick gonna find the stock, and Advo, once again, playing this one incredibly close.
Yes, definitely very close. Just that little bit of stall was just enough for Villager to float over that charge shot. But the one thing we have not seen this entire set? We've not seen one pocket, and now that we're late game, it's going to get even more dangerous. Because if he is able to find a pocket, not only is it tough and it can end up killing you, you don't know when he's going to use it because he hasn't done it yet. So Advo has to be extra careful on charge shot at this point. But right now, Wilt is just putting on that pressure, getting a lot of big call-outs on those spot dodges or air dodges.
That bomb, holding on to it, so smart to save yourself the ability to air stall and drift back. Now that second tree getting chopped, barely going to time that air to find its way past, sneak on the ledge, and use the iframe. So Advo getting back to stage, getting those feet firm on the ground, and now has a chance to close this one out when it matters most side.
All right, let's trap from Advo. Not going to lead to too much. Still getting a little bit of free damage here, but definitely just one single hit away. Got to be extra careful, especially running up and just spot dodging your villagers, because Wilt has been calling that out so excellently. Oh my God, the bowling ball on the stage was so scary. I'm not sure if he meant to turn it around or if he was trying to trade with an aerial, but the back throw is enough to do it, and Wilt is able to take it over Advo. He played it so well, and every single time it felt like the set had like an even